Uh, Hi everyone and welcome to our virtual event on UiPath coded automation. Let me quickly introduce myself and then our speaker as well. So again, hi everyone, I'm Parth Doshi. You might have seen me multiple times hosting different virtual events. I work as a RP consultant at Wonderbots and I'm three times UiPath MVP with having my expertise in UiPath apps. So if there is anything that you need to discuss or explore about UiPath apps, please feel free to reach out to me. And in UiPath Mumbai chapter last month, we did two very amazing sessions. They were on the Gen AI and the document understanding modern activities. And to help you keep exploring the latest features in UiPath, today we bring another interesting topic. Now, we all know that when we post about UiPath platform or when we post about automation, we say that it is a low code platform, it is a no code platform, and we have heard that terminologies a lot. But today, for the people who still love coding, right, even though you are working on low code platforms where dragging and dropping the activities is where you have to put your efforts in, but you still love coding and would like to write codes to build automations. We bring you this session to help you understand and explore the new feature of UiPath coded automation. With me, I have today Sharayu Raut, who is our speaker, having overall 4 years of experience in the RPA industry, and she is going to share her knowledge on UiPath coded automation. So, without wasting any time, Sharayu, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Path. Yeah, I've been already introduced. So, today we are here for the UiPath coded automation session. So, thank you all for joining. And as we speak, let me just quickly share my screen and let's get started. Okay.
Yeah. In the meantime, just one more thing. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. I'll be continuously monitoring it and I'll take it up in between the sessions or towards the end of the session. If you want to unmute yourself in the last 15 minutes, we'll have a Q&A interactive session as well. But in the meantime, during the session, if there are any questions, feel free to put it in the chat.
Okay, I hope my screen is visible.
Yep, it is.
Okay. So today we are here for the UiPath coded automation session. Okay. So how we are going to go about this session is we are first I'll tell you about what coded automation is, what are the details around how do we implement it, and what all things are required can implement it in the automation solution. Post that, we are also going to see a demonstration where I'm going to just build small use cases where you will see how coded automation is implemented. Post which we are going to look at the benefits of it and the use cases around it. So first, what is actually coded automation? That allows you to build the solutions with instead of having the visual design. Now, primarily, we have and drop activities, the standard activities that we use for the automation in UiPath. But coded automation allows all the developers to integrate more complex logics and build specific tasks that are complex in business perspective, business logic perspective. And this makes it easier so that we can inculcate all those logics with using the code, and then with the coded automation to implement all those logics without using the standard activities, because when we drag and drop all the activities, the code gets very complex, the flows get very complex, and we are unable to identify the we lose track of what is going on. So to make it easier, coded automation is introduced by UiPath so that we can implement these all complex logics in one go. Now, what all do we need to implement this coded automation? First is we do need the studio version higher than 2023.4. Along with it, we need the packages like system activities, UiPath system activities package, then UiPath UI automation activities package, and then testing activities. So along with this, you also need to have a programming language, because when we implement coded automation solution, all those codes are implemented in C sharp language. So to all those codes, when they are written in C sharp, you also need to know what C sharp language is. So for that purpose, your background should be with with the knowledge of programming. So that is one of the requirements as well. Now, coded automation works with object repository. Now, this is very important. And why is it important? We are going to look at that in the further in the demo as well. We'll talk about more about the object repository as well. Now, what all features do we have when we speak about the coded automation? So UiPath has given there are three options under the design tab when we look at the studio. First is coded workflow, which is a standard coded workflow which acts like a main XAML. When we do the automation, when we build the automations, we look at the main XAML, right? So this is where coded workflow is like. So it acts as the same when we are building the automations in coded automation. So using the coded automation. Second one is coded source file. We can create all the code snippets, and when we are doing when we are writing these standalone scripts, we write these in C sharp language, and we have to write it in the source code file. So all the source codes, larger codes are built in these files, and then we use these files inside the coded workflow so that we can call upon and then execute the logic. So these are the two main topics today: coded workflow and coded source file, that we are going to look at. Along with this, we also have coded test case, which is used for designing the code test cases. So this is just an overview what is the coded automation. Now let's take a look at demonstration. Okay, so this particular flow I have built without using the coded automation. Okay, where I am going to interact with an application. So this is just a sample app. Okay, where my CRM app, which just gives you few fields, which is a form wherein we provide with all the details and stuff. So my automation solution, what is it going to do is, first it will fill the first name, last name, then goes to the state, updates that, then goes to the other tab, click on save, and then on OK. So this is how the um, automation solution is going to do. Now this is without using the coded automation. Okay, this is just a sample that I'm going to show you. So this is what we are doing right now. So this is how it is built. Type into for the first name. So I've given the field what we have to insert in that. Then the last name. Then selecting the states. Now here in between, I've added some delays so that we also see all the things in action. Then we have to click, then the solution will click on the other tab, then on the save button and the OK button. So let's just quickly run this. We can see how this is going to go. Okay. So when this application is going to interact with this solution is going to interact with the application, it will provide click on type in the first name, last name, then select the state, then click on the other tab, and so on. So this is how it's going to be. So this is how we normally do using the standard activities. So this is just normal for us, right? But what if we want to do the same thing using the coded automation? So let me just quickly create a new process for that. So as we have talked about, that studio version should be higher than 2023.4, which is, for me it is 2023.12. Then I'll just create a process. Okay, and let me just 1 second. Just give a path to that. And here language doesn't matter, because any which way the coded automation are built in C sharp language. So no matter what language here it is, the files are always going to be in C sharp language. So create the process. Okay. Now, as I said before, we were talking about the object repository. Okay, so this is the object repository section that I was talking about. So this object repository is very important as it is a centralized location for all the elements or screens or an application that we want to interact with. So wherever any application comes into the picture and we have coded automation, we need the object repository to have all those elements captured at one place. So this is the centralized location for that. So when so how do we use it is we create an application. Okay, so this is an application instance. Then we create a screen. I'll just create one screen where we are going to interact. Okay, I'll just indicate. One second. So sample application. Then we are going to create the elements inside it, where we are going to, first is the first name. Okay, then we have last name. Then we have state, where, one second, I've done something wrong. Okay, then we have other tab. Okay, then we have save button. Okay. And the last is OK button that we get after clicking on the save. Okay, so this was all about capturing the elements that we're going to interact with of the application using the coded automation. Okay, now to the real part where we build a coded automation. Now here I'm using coded workflow because we'll just need one single workflow wherein we are going to like use all the elements and do interact with the app. So here I'm just naming it. Okay. So as you see, the coded workflow is in C sharp language. Okay. Now here we can see that the namespace and all this attributes are there. So let me just give you overview quickly. Namespace gives you the project name and the folder this particular workflow is in, and then here this gives you the name of the workflow, and here this is an execute method which is an entry point to the workflow, coded workflow. Now what do I mean by entry point is how is that decided is based on the workflow attribute. Now this workflow attribute is very important while deciding which method would be an entry point, because it's not necessary that a method needs to be named as execute. It can be anything, but wherever workflow attribute is mentioned, that particular method against any method, so that particular method acts like an entry point against the for the coded workflow. So obviously there will not be more than one workflow attribute inside a coded workflow, because there can be only one entry point, and um, so this is where the coded workflow will start at. So let me just clear this out. Okay. Now, to interact with the particular application, we need to create a variable wherein we have the where we can call upon all the elements. Okay. So this is how you do it. Dot open. So this is going to do is it is going to open the application. Okay, and then also it will refer to the elements that are inside the descriptor, okay, in object repository. So descriptors dot, now this is what I'm giving as an application, and then the screen. Okay. Now I want to type into I'll just add something random, then screen last name as, then screen dot select item, because state element contains the list of the items we are going to provide with the, we are going to use the select item. Okay, and then we are going to provide as the input that we want. Then we are going to click on the other tab, right? So screen dot click on other, then click on the save button, and sorry, the you need to exactly match this with the element name. So here I'll just rename this, then screen dot click on the OK button. Save button, and okay, one second, I did not rename this. Okay, so okay button. So this is the flow. Okay, let me just, now one more thing, while I was working on this, I did encounter with certain errors which were because of the package. Okay, so I'll just quickly upgrade these. Okay, so system activities and the UI automation. This will just take a while, post which we can run the process and see how does the coded automation solution works while interacting with the application. Okay, so let me just quickly run this. One second, I'll just terminate this for a moment because I've not closed the actual form. Uh-huh. We did not see all the things. Let me just rerun this particular. So it is working on the first people form. Then, yeah. So this is how it worked with the coded automation. Now this was like creating a normal. So analogically speaking, this is just one of the workflow that we create for a linear process. So what if we want to invoke this somewhere? So for that,
Sharu, while you are doing that, on the same thing, we have two questions from Ashwini Kumar. The first one is, how can we specify timeouts in type into or click? While you were doing it in coded automation, how do we specify the timeouts and in type intos or clicks? And the second is there any difference in the success rate compared to the normal UI automation that we do?
so, speaking about the success rate, I would say when we interact, so success rate as in accuracy wise, there wouldn't be any difference. Okay, so much difference. But then this is this same thing again. So when we are doing it using the drag and drop activities, the standard activities, we are using the selectors. Same thing we are doing here as well. So where we are creating these elements, same thing again, we are using the selector itself. It's just the activities that we drag and drop and create the workflows. Instead of that, we have done that using the coded automation.
Mhm.
That's all. The
Yeah.
accuracy wise, it will be the same, only that the flow that we create, it will be more readable and then easy to keep track with what is happening.
Right. And what about adding the timeouts in type intos or clicks? Can we do that?
Yeah, we can. So that's what we have done right now. So with the timeouts, we can do that. I'll have to get more into that. I
Okay.
haven't done it here, but then we do use the delay before and delay after. The same thing we can do it here as well. I have to
Okay.
search more on that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Basically, Parth, we have all the activity properties that we use when we do the drag and drop of the activity, and then we have a property panel and we set the properties. The same
Mhm.
all properties are available in the coded automation as well. It is like you can explore it and you can start using it. Like we use the
Okay.
time and type into activity now, right? There are certain again parameters where we can specify the timeout.
Hmm.
So everything is available as it is, but through the coding. That is what the coded automation.
Okay. Right. Okay. All right. Yep. We can try it.
Okay. So to invoke this particular code workflow, we need invoke work file. Okay. And then I'll just okay. And so this is how you invoke the particular flow workflow, coded workflow. I'll just update this. Okay. Okay. And just see here. So this is how you invoke a particular code workflow. So this was just another way of doing the same thing that we do while interacting with an application. What if since I was talking about the business logics, right? So this, as I said before, this also includes all the selectors and all. So it doesn't make any much difference. So where exactly coded automation will make an impact? So this comes where we have to implement the business logics. So whenever we want to implement certain business logic, when we do it using the normal standard activities, so that time our workflows get bigger, and then we lose like implementing those logics gets difficult with time. So now I'll just show you one of the simple use case wherein we are going to implement the business logic. Now, what is the use case? Let me just show you that quickly. The problem statement is we have an input Excel. Okay. Now, this Excel will contain certain data about few students. Okay, where we have the names, and for certain subjects we have marks given against each student. Now what we need as an output is we need a total, and we need a status of like where does that particular student stands. So like for example, if the marks will be in certain range, there will be a group, it will be grouped as particularly. So for example, the marks are above 70, then the particular student will be under first class. Then within the range of 40 to 70, it will be second class, and then below it would be as failed. So this is what we need. So this is the input, and that is the output that we are expecting. So let me just quickly build a solution again. Just close this. So again, okay, so we will not need the object repository here. What we are going to do is we will create first the code workflow. Okay. Okay. Now here we are going to do the invoking and calling the source code file. So we'll need a source code file. Okay. Okay, so here I just have the few code snippets ready so that it gets less time consuming. Okay, so what the logic says is that we need a class. Okay, so what we are going to do is to a method, we are going to pass a data table. So when we read this particular Excel, we are going to get a data table. So how we do it using the normal Excel activity, Excel application scope and reading the range. So let me just place that particular file inside the automation solution. So this is the input file. Okay, and let's read the file. Rate range for an Excel. Okay, so here let me just get the output in TT marks. Okay, now we have read the input file. We have the output after reading the input file in the form of data table. Now this same data table we are going to feed to this particular method, where what we are going to do is we need to, so normally what we'll do is once we get the data table, we'll add the column of total and then the status, right? So normally we'll do the add data column, track those activities and do two activities, and then in one we put the total column and then the other the status column. So same thing here also, we are doing the same thing, that in the data table columns we are adding total column and the status column. Okay, after that what we are going to do is for the total column we are going to sum up for all the rows, right? So we are going to have another class wherein we are going to do that, calculate the total for that particular row. So here again, what we are doing is we are going to pass that particular data table to each and every method. Okay, so class. So what we are doing is for each of in this what we are doing is for each of the row, we are getting the total for all the columns for that particular row. We are going to add the values inside the uh, maths column, then science column, and then the history column. Now whatever value we get in written, we are going to store it in the string variable, and then we are going to pass this string variable value to the total column cell. So what here also we are calling on the second another part wherein we are calculating the sum of all the values. So we are getting the total. So this is the this is a private uh, class wherein we are returning the sums of all the integers. Okay, so initially we have those values in string format. We are just converting those to int, adding those up, and then returning that particular value here. So once we get the value in string format, we are saving it to the total, and then again once all the rows are done, we are returning the like giving back the data table here. Now after that we also need to work on the status for each of the students. Like we are going to check if the particular the total of that particular student is in particular range. Based on that we are going to give the class, decide on the class, that is first class, second class, or failed category. So for the update status, so again logically what we do is for each of the row, again what we are going to do is we are going to check the total, like for that particular row what is the total of it, and then based on that we are going to give the status of that particular student, decide on the particular status of that student. So this get status, this is the logic where we where what we are doing is we have applied if condition where total marks, if it is greater than the 70, then the status of that particular student would be first class. If not, if it is in the range of 40 to 70, then the status would be second class. If both the conditions fail, then the status of that particular student would be failed, and then we return the status. So here when we call this then there we are providing with the int value, that the total marks, that is the input for that particular method, and then it is returning back the status of that particular student. So this is the um, logical, like whatever we do normally in logic, we build you in a workflow, that we get the data table and then we add the columns and then we work on the like calculating the total and for the status of it. So we do the same thing using the activities. So instead of activities, coded automation allows you to do it in this format using the code snips. So now, to have this in a like, this was all about the source code. Like, we have a code source file where all the logic is there. Now you want to call this here in the code workflow file. So what I'm going to do is, first I'll have to create the instance for that particular method. So that will be, 1 second. So get marks. Okay. So what we have done is, we are calling this, we are creating an instance here, and then we are going to do is, first we have to pass the data table. So the variable would be this, and then pass the value here as well. Okay. Now here, it is going to return the data table, just the marks dot get marks, and we are going to pass the data table to it. Okay. Now we have to invoke this. So invoke workflow here. Again, I'll have to upgrade the package system and UI. Okay, now let me just quickly drag the workflow file. So why I was upgrading the packages, because there's been issues with this particular activity, and then for some reason the studio also gets stuck and we do not get the appropriate output as well. So for that reason, I've upgraded it. Okay, now what we can do is, we can just, okay, let me just keep it as in only. So dt marks, let me just change the scope of this variable. Then okay, then the output also we can get here. Okay, now I want to have this in an output Excel. So again, let me just drag the Excel application. application scope, and here I'll create one output report, okay, inside the project itself. So output statistics, okay, and I do the right range. Where the data table is dt marks, and we also want the headers. Let me just save this. Now let me run this. So we can also like for the debugging purpose as well, it is not as much difference when it comes to coded automation. Okay, so it does the same thing. When we want to debug certain things, we can do it in the same way, like step into and all that, the features that we use for debugging. So same thing we can do here as well. There are lines, and then we can put the debugger breakpoints, and then do do all the things that we normally do while developing an automation solution. So let me just open the output file. Let's just see if we have the correct output. So 1 second. So it does, it did correctly for this. Let me just check the logic if I've done something wrong here. Greater than 40 but less than 70. Okay, so 70 got skipped here because of that. For 70 it has given as failed. Okay, so if we put here as 70 and equal to 70, then it might have given the correct thing, like first class for this as well. And so yeah, this is the output for that particular workflow that we have built. Okay, so is there anything anybody wants to ask? After that, we'll move ahead with the benefits and plus points about the coded automation.
Uh, there were some questions in the chat that myself and Siddesh we did answer it, but guys, anyone still has any question, feel free to put it in the chat or raise your hand. I see something in the chat. Isn't it same as creating custom activity? Oh, Vikrant, that is not entirely that. I would say it is not entirely creating a custom activity. See, there might be cases where you want to just build one complex logic for a particular automation. To go through that complete process of creating a custom activity, publishing it to orchestrator, and then installing through managed packages and all of it. So let's suppose there is a scenario where you have to use three or four for loops and if conditions and all of that. If you build that in the normal activities, it is going to be a lot of nested activities or a flowchart is going to become complex. If you do it over here, you can just do it. No need of creating a custom activity and use it in the automation. So in a way, it is not entirely that, but to some extent, you can say it is also. I hope that answers your question, Vikrant. Anyone else? Any questions? Right, Sharayu, I don't see any questions coming in the chat. I think we can move ahead, and in the meantime, if I see anything in the chat, I'll just reach out.
Okay, so moving ahead with the benefits, like so this is for the with the enhanced productivity. So when we build in normal flows, this for a particular developer, the coding and scripting, that is very easy, and for them this particular feature, you can leverage your skills and then increase your productivity. So this is how coded automation benefits you. Along with that, complexity management, because whenever you are interacting with the business layer of particular process, there the business logics wherein the requirements come, business logics get complex time by time. So to avoid that, when we build those in the workflows, it gets messier, and then to avoid that, we have coded automation, so it does the perfect job when it comes to complexity management. Then we have improved performance, hybrid automation. So improved performance as in, I wouldn't with the there wouldn't be any enhanced, like the timing wise, but then the thing is selectors and all those things get complex, and then to avoid that, coded automation does a better job. And then coming to the readability, yes, readability as in the structure of the code is very important for a developer when they're building an automation solution. So they need to know where which thing is placed. So when coded automation is done for a particular developer, it gets easier to read through it, because to them getting the issues solved is much important with time. So code readability, in that timing is very important, and coded automation is very playing a vital role there as well. So these are all about the these are all the benefits of it. Now, coming to the use cases like invoicing, and like the thing is, when we talk about invoicing, purchase order, and all these things, what I've seen is when coded automation is used, we can integrate this with all the other features of the UiPath. Like just now, we have seen that we have also used the Excel automation. Then, we have read the Excel particularly, then we have got the data into a particular data table, then we have operated and um, operated on that, and then we got the output out of it. So same thing, invoicing and all these features for the coded automation, when extraction and all that stuff is done, when after the extraction, validations, and any processing over the invoices if it is needed, then their coded automation can play a vital role. So these are all this can be one of the use cases as well. So this is all about it. So these were the use cases we can see that in real life, where we can implement the coded automation as well. So that is it from my end. Please ask if you have any questions. Floor is all
So,
yours.
yeah. No, I think Sherry, the session was really helpful to get started with. Many times we use invoke code, right? I would say this is the modification of how we use invoke code to write custom logic sometimes, right? So now you can do UI automation as well, encoded automation, but moreover, it will reduce the efforts of building custom activity in some cases using invoke code as well. So yeah, overall, I think the session was really helpful and we can explore more on it. All right, guys, the floor is open to you. Does anyone have any questions? Would you like to unmute yourself and ask any questions or just put it in the chat? Anything is fine. And I hope we did not miss any question in the chat, but if you think we missed, please let us know. We'll wait for a couple of minutes. Someone might be typing. And if you guys have any feedback for the session, please feel free to send that as well in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and talk about that as well if you have any feedback for the session. All right. Thank you, Vikrant, for attending it. And if you guys coded, workflow is only available in C sharp. Sure are you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yes. Yes, Ajay. So it is only available in C sharp.
So to add to that question more, so the thing is when we are creating a project, there it wouldn't matter which language you are selecting, like VB or C sharp.
Right.
But the solutions that are built for the coded source file or the
Hmm.
coded workflows, those files are always in C sharp language only. So
All
I've shown in the demo as well that the extension of it is .cs. So that is a C
right.
sharp file.
So it is the compatibility is with both the types of languages,
Yes,
but the
yes.
coded workflows that you create that has to be in C sharp.
C sharp, yes.
All right. I hope Ajay that answers your question. That was my next question. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Ajay. Thank you, Parthanchari, for this. It was very informative. Looking forward for more session like this. Thank you, Durvesh. All right. And if you guys have any suggestions for what session we shall bring it next, right? You can put that also in the chat. All right. So I think there are no questions coming in, but more of a feedback. So yeah, thank you, Sharayu, for UiPath apps. Uh, what particularly in UiPath apps, Ashwani Kumar? Because it's a vast topic. There are so many things that we can cover. So anything specific that you are looking for in UiPath apps? What is it exactly? More about data manager and descriptors. All right. More about it. Okay. Noted. Ajay Kumar, Ashwini Kumar. Ajay Mishra, sorry, Ajay Mishra, Ashwin Kumar, custom ML models in document understanding. I think Siddesh, this is something for you. Last time we did document understanding, and we were also planning to come with document understanding 2.0 session. So maybe if you have some content on this, we can host a session probably next month. Custom ML models in DE.
Definitely, definitely, Parth. I do have certain things I'll discuss with you.
All right, awesome, awesome. Then yeah. Thank you, Sunny, for your suggestion. Ajay and Ashwini as well. We'll try to host sessions on this particular topic. Yeah, DU anyways, DU Gen AI activities, I think we have to do the 2.0 session of it. Probably if we get something more in coded automation, we'll do it about that as well. All right. I think there are no questions coming in and we have pretty much received feedback from everyone. Yes, there is some AI series as well going on, so you guys can check that out. AI developer series, I believe, that started on 7th of October. So maybe Sunny, if you can check that out, and there is also sessions happening in Delhi chapter with respect to AI models. So yeah, I think Ajay, you are talking about that only. Yeah, so you can check that out. Cool, thanks. All right, fine. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending this session. We'll soon come up with some interesting session and the topics that you guys have suggested. We'll definitely try to come up with a session on that. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Thank you, Sharayu. Hi.
Thank you, Path.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone.